The leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha needs no introduction. Ghulam Nabi Azad is a revered name in the House of the Elders. He is also somebody who got the Prime Minister teary-eyed. And in conversation with me, it's Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad himself. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir. Sir, yesterday was an emotional moment, an emotional farewell, something that has not been witnessed for a very long time in the House. The Prime Minister spoke about you, he recalled certain instances, and he got teary-eyed. He chokes on certain words. When you were making your speech, even you got teary-eyed, sir. How was that entire experience? Were you expecting such a send-off from the House of the Elders?
Well, there were two parts of it. One was the part of my retirement related, when right from chairman, he spoke so good. I am thankful to him. Prime Minister chose to speak very good words, thankful to him. And after that, everybody, right from Sharad Pawarji, who was the third speaker, and BSP, Samajwadi, CPI, CPM, DMK, AIDMK, just RJD, then Telugu Desham, and TRS, and other parties, our party. So they spoke so good, I was overwhelmed. But insofar as the teary part is concerned, whether on the Prime Minister's side or my side, it was directly related to a particular militant incident, militancy-related incident in Srinagar, where a bus of tourists from Gujarati people, were attacked by the militants just almost half a kilometer from my official residence of Chief Minister. And the Prime Minister was recalling that particular incident when I was weeping bitterly when these people were attacked and killed. And another incident the same day while I was seeing off at the airport these tourists taking the dead bodies and the injured person. So there I had broken down the atmosphere, because the children and women, they caught hold of me, hugging me and just weeping. So everybody was crying. So I was crying as loud as these children, and the wives of the victims were crying. So that was the time that was shown by media, particularly Gujarat media had shown for days together. And the Chief Minister, present Prime Minister, was very much moved that here is the Chief Minister, they are Gujarati people, and he's so weeping so bitterly. So that moved him. And he was recalling that incident when he also saluted that. I think he might have not expected from me, but it was, the atmosphere was so gloomy. You know the Prime
Minister even way ahead of him becoming the Prime Minister. You know him from the time that you were comrades as Chief Ministers, or even before that.
No, I know him because in 90s, when we were both General Secretaries, I was General Secretary of my party, and he was the General Secretary of BJP. So we would take part in debates, and television debates, definitely against each other, but then we would also sit together and tea and coffee and all that.
And that is your personal relation?
This personal relation. You know, the politics, we have to differentiate between the personal relation and the party relation. In personal relations, we are all human beings. Whichever party we may belong to, whichever religion we may belong to, we are human beings first. Then after being human being, then you become the religion after some time, and then you become the politician much later. So basic thing is human being. So that we are the first. Politically we differ. Politically husband, wife can differ. Politically two brothers differ. We have seen two brothers in two different political parties. We have seen father and son in two different political parties. But they cannot be separated from that blood relation. The father and brother, the father and son will remain father and son. Two brothers will remain two brothers. But maybe politically they think differently and they work for those political parties. I think we belong to old school of thought where we have been told to differentiate between the two. Don't mix.
And you have been one of the strongest
What was
opponents.
Mrs. Indira Gandhi always saying? Don't mix politics with religion. And also don't mix politics with personal relations. It's unfortunately that today personal relation and political relation and religion and politics are all mixed khichdi today. So I had an opportunity to work with great leaders of the party of that particular time. Well, from my party side, it was Indira Gandhi, but I had a great opportunity to interact and to work because very young age became my minister, very young age became general secretary of the party. So I got an opportunity to, in that capacity, very young with old people and experienced people like Karnanidhi, Karan, Devi Gowda, Jyoti Basu, Indrajit Gupta, all these very, very senior people, and Comrade Surjit of CPM, General Secretary.
But sir, yesterday's moment was captured across all news channels. You were perhaps the headline across all news channels because we've never really seen the Prime Minister being so emotionally moved, and then he expresses himself. Perhaps emotions and politics don't go hand in hand together. There are also saying that this is perhaps a reflection of how emotions and appreciation for a politician can cut across party line.
Yes.
In a situation where people also believe that after this whole letter writing situation that took place, perhaps you and many other senior leaders were isolated by the Congress party. There was a cold shoulder given to you as opposed to what the Prime Minister warmed up to you yesterday and the entire House together. How do you draw that?
No, I think it's wrong.
How do you see that in perspective?
It is wrong to say that the Congress leadership has isolated us or sidelined us. That's
Cold shoulder, sir?
I mean, that stage we have left behind, and we can be cold shoulder because we work for the party. Everybody works for the party. We are a hardcore party man, and we are in the party because of certain conviction. And this is a stage when we don't bother about the positions. That stage we have passed long back, maybe 2 decades, 3 decades back. So we are here in the party now by virtue of our conviction and for the principles which are very close to our heart, both me and my colleagues. So I don't think anybody of us is now seeking any position in the party and all that. Whatever, when we wrote a letter, it was just to strengthen the organization and strengthen those principles for which we have stood through and for which we have worked with the senior leader.
Any regrets about writing the letter, sir, or the manner in which it was projected?
No, not at all.
Do you think you were misconstrued?
No, we were dying just inside by inches that something should have happened and is not happening and we are not telling. Now at least we know we have spoken our mind.
You've conveyed it.
We have conveyed our mind. We've spoken our mind. It's for leadership to work on that, accept that, reject that, but at least we feel that we have done our duty. And this is not first time because not many people have been in the politics like we have been there 45 years. This was even in Mrs. Gandhi's time. This was even in Rajiv Gandhi's time. This was in Narasimha Rao's time, big way.
You were spearheading
that
with Rajesh Pilot and
why you are
Sharad
not
Pawar.
meeting. Every working committee, I was wishing that in last meeting, you had told you Karnataka, there's only PCC president, but no committee.
But sir, you've seen the Congress of that time.
But then, the Prime Minister didn't have any ill will. When we were very, very hard words also. Even on number of occasions I told him, sir, you are holding Prime Minister President, but you are not doing justice to the party. Why don't you resign? Why don't you give one of us to run the party? So he said, no, whatever you will do. So he would not mind also.
Do you think that the Congress of today does not have a place for dissent?
Even when I was Parliamentary Affairs Minister only, and I was General Secretary also, Working Committee, I raised this issue. He gave me 2 more portfolios. So, civil aviation and tourism. But even after giving me 3 portfolios, I didn't stop the crusade against him for not strengthening the organization.
But so you worked
it was not personal, it was not my...
Absolutely.
In my state, he had given free hand. But I was saying, because having known the state, I was saying that this state does not have PCC, this state does not have the PCC, this state does not have it. So why are you sticking on the 5? Why are you not deciding?
Fair enough, sir. But you've worked with Indira Gandhi, you worked with Rajiv Gandhi, you worked with Sonia Gandhi, and you've also worked with Rahul Gandhi, sir. The Congress of that generation and the Congress today, do you see a vast difference? You've seen when the Congress was in peaks, you had your own share of rebel or crusade that you spearheaded yourself. Do you think in the Congress of today, there is a room that is shrinking when it comes to dissent?
No, since it is shrinking, which is why we want Congress should be strengthened.
Do you think they should have appetite for criticism, positive criticism?
No, it's not criticism at all. It is a suggestion to strengthen the organization. The entire country wants a strong opposition. When we were in power, the people wanted a strong opposition, which the BJP provided. Now, BJP is there. There are a lot of things which BJP may not be able to do or may not be acceptable to people. So people want Congress party to provide a strong, robust opposition. We are not able to.
So what is going wrong?
So which is why even I know on a number of occasions the BJP leaders have told me that we want a strong opposition. That's good for democracy. So every right-thinking person would like in a democracy to have a very strong opposition party. Therefore, to strengthen the organization, we need to work together. Everybody need to work together. Everybody should accept the good suggestion and strengthen the organization. So our letter was totally to strengthen the organization, not to remove A or not to remove B.
So, but you specifically mentioned that there is a leadership vacuum. You wanted a 24 hours, a permanent Congress president.
There is a reason.
But so what do you think is happening?
Because the Congress president was Rahul Gandhi, who was elected, he resigned. Then we all requested Mrs. Gandhi at least be there for 1 hour as an interim president. So we didn't have the president who we elected. We had only interim president for...
As a stopgap.
So, stopgap you may call interim president, interim president. So our demand was to have full-time president. How can a national party...
Do you see Rahul Gandhi as a full-time president, sir, in future?
No, he had resigned now.
No, if he wants to come back and the election takes place, because the Chhattisgarh Congress, the Telangana Congress and Delhi Congress have passed resolutions demanding that Rahul Gandhi should come back.
No objection for Rahul Gandhi to become president, but full-time president.
For the full term?
Full-time. Full term is not. Full-time.
You think that he is often spoken about as somebody who... does his work in between vacations, he goes off missing right before the foundation day, and all you leaders were present over there in the Congress headquarters, you were all made to be answerable for it. So do you think there should be a lot more seriousness if you want to come back to a position as the Congress president?
He is serious. He is serious. I won't say that he is not serious. I won't say that. I only would like that he need to devote more time. Here we have no problem. We have no problem with Rahul Gandhi. Our problem is only, and it's not only Mr. Rahul Gandhi becoming president. That even
whoever gets elected.
Even he gives full time. That's not enough. We must have the elected bodies at each level. We must have elected PCCs, we must have elected DCCs, we must have elected block committees.
You demanded that CWC and parliamentary board should also be elected.
But these are the different arms. If you have mouth, you don't have the nose. If you have mouth and nose, you don't have the hands. If you have hands, you don't have the legs. So a perfect man can become only you have legs, you have feet, you have hands, you have arms, you have mouth, you have...
So, but the Congress party maintains...
The perfect thing for Congress party is to do an elected president, an elected working committee, an elected CEC, an elected Pradesh Congress Committee, elected district Congress committees, elected block
The
Congress
organizational
committees
changes should
and
be
a
all
parliamentary
elected.
board. Parliamentary board sits where the collective wisdom works. That is above the few selected out of the working committee, and that is called a cabinet.
Absolutely.
Real cabinet. So unless we have all these things in place, and all things are in our constitution. So we are not talking anything beyond party.
You want the Congress to abide by its own constitution. Absolutely.
Because the constitution makers have made the constitution to strengthen the organization. Since we are not abiding by the constitution, we have reached
But
this
the Congress
stage.
talks about internal party democracy. In this internal party democracy, the Congress wants to abide by the constitution.
We simply want
But
to
often it's spoken about that the family gets more precedence over the party. Do you agree with it, sir? You have worked very closely with the family.
No problem. Family was given precedence even during Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi. But these arms were all there.
So, but this is not really the format of the BJP. The BJP gives precedence to the party at large, not a particular
No, we were
family.
also giving. No? We were also giving. It's only for the last 3 decades. Now, I won't blame Mrs. Gandhi, even a little before that. Even the parliamentary board was there. I had the privilege of being parliamentary board during Rajiv Gandhi's 5 years period, and during Narasimha Rao's 1 year period, I was parliamentary board. I know what all is discussed in the working committee. I know what all is decided by the parliamentary board. So at least I'm still alive, who has been in both these committees.
But sir, we've seen you as a leader over here. We've come to this particular house of yours so many times, and you've been always accessible for us, as a former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister to the leader of the opposition, sir. This is exactly what perhaps the young generation, to a certain extent, have not imbibed from you all, sir. This is a complaint by and large who felt that Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi have not been accessible. That has been one of the grievance of the Congress party, several Karyakartas also, sir. Do you think there is a need for the parties to realize that, introspect, and make themselves more approachable?
But that we'll discuss on some other occasion. Today we discuss only that the farewell was very good. I thank everybody. I thank the chairman. I thank deputy chairman. I thank prime minister. I thank
So, but I want to ask you that during your tenure, there's an abrogation of Article 370 took place. There were some very important recent laws. The abolishment of the triple talaq took place, and the recent was the farm bills. And you've spoken very, very passionately.
I've spoken on all this.
On the abrogation of Article 370 especially, sir.
Even this Citizenship Act, I've spoken.
CAA. So when it comes to the farm bill, the farmers are still sitting at the Delhi borders. So there is by and large an impression that the Congress party is misleading the farmers.
No.
That this is a Punjab-based demonstration.
I have said once that lakhs and lakhs of farmers sitting on dharna. There are dharna from UP side, Andhra side, Karnataka side, Maharashtra side. I wish my party was that powerful to organize so dharnas. I said, you are giving undue credit to us.
So do you think this is a farmers' movement?
I wish then we would have organized our party public meetings. So I said, you are giving undue weightage to us that we are so powerful that lakhs and lakhs are people coming on our request.
On your call.
Our call. That's totally. This is a spontaneous. This is a Kisans across the country. Across the country, Kisans are aggrieved. So I would still make a request to this government. They should repeal this, bring another bill in consultation with the Kisans and sending it to the select committee or standing committee where there can be a threadbare discussion where even the farmers' representatives can be called, invited, and their suggestions can be taken on board. And the government suggestion definitely will be part of that.
So you've been in the parliament.
It has to be the suggestions of the government, suggestions given by the Kisans, and also the opposition party. That will make a perfect bill where the government will be happy. That will be a win-win situation, triple win.
So you've been in the parliament for close to 3 decades, sir.
The Government will be happy.
So you've been in the parliament for close to 3 decades. We've often seen you as the voice of the opposition inside the house, but also you've held protest outside the parliament as well at the Gandhi statue on several occasions. It's often said that the voice of the opposition is muzzled under this particular government, but the manner in which the bills were passed through voice vote.
I oppose that.
Do you think this is a departure from the set norm?
I have opposed that. When the Kisan bill came, or even Article 370 abrogation came, violating the rules, I have very strongly said. I have very strongly spoken. So has my party, and so has entire opposition taken up that very strongly. So when it comes to the the rules and regulation violated, we have not kept mum. We have raised our voice.
But sir, now that you've hung your boots at the Rajya Sabha as leader of the opposition, what's going to be next for you? Because you are clearly not retiring from politics as yet, sir. We would be seeing you campaigning across length of breadth of the country. There's several elections coming up at various states,
well,
sir.
Definitely.
But in the recent past, the Congress hasn't really performed well. How has your assessment been, sir? Especially the Bihar elections was quite disappointing, sir. Do you think Congress not being able to act in time is the reason why they're losing out states after state? We saw it happening in Madhya Pradesh. We saw it happening in Bihar, in Karnataka. So do you think there is a need for the Congress party to act in time?
Yes, Congress party has to work very hard, and Congress party has to change the strategy if we want to come back, and if we want a government in some states, and ultimately government at the national level. The government will the Congress party shall have to work very hard, very hard, very hard.
Sir, there was also
each level.
There was also a lot of buzz surrounding the fact that there has been some love lost between you and the Gandhi family per se, because you've seemed to be very close to the Gandhi family, obviously with the body of work of your experience, the wealth of experience that you've always had. So do you think this is true?
No, our relations remain the same.
You've been in touch with the Congress president and Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi?
Same. There's no personal relation, any change in our
Because it's often said that the Congress's enemy is not the BJP political enemy. The Congress's own enemy is the Congress itself. These jargons that were created about old guard versus young guard, or so-called Team RG versus Team Sonia. Do you see any merit in this, sir?
No merit. There's no merit. We have young also, we have old also. When we were young in Indraji's time, there were 3 types of generation: very young and middle age and very old. So we have played these roles from time to time.
So what's going to be the next role that we would see you in, sir?
There is so much to do. There's so much to do. It's not only you that is important to become a legislature, or it's important to become the office bearer of any particular party.
Could we see you back in the parliament?
That's not necessary. That's not necessary.
But you're open to it?
But always, of course, I'm always open to it. But I'm not going to die for that or beg for that. That's too clear thing. But there are so many works to be done. I mean, huge work to be done.
So you will miss the parliament. How would you remember the parliament once it comes back to you?
I have said in one my share yesterday, नहीं आएगी आपकी याद तो बरसों नहीं आएगी, जब आएगी याद तो बहुत याद आएगी.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, Azad sir.
वो पार्लियामेंट से ही और पार्लियामेंटेरियन से. कभी अगर इंटरेस्टेड काम में बिजी हो गया तो मैं आई विल फॉरगेट इट, और कभी डिसइंटरेस्टेड उसमें हो गया तो फिर बहुत याद आएगी.
But sir, I'll catch you again when you're campaigning in the upcoming state elections.
Oh, sure.
And I won't spare you that time again. But thank you so much for speaking to Times Now, sir.
Thank you.
That is in conversation Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, one of the most revered and notable names from the parliament. He is hanging his boots from the Rajya Sabha right now, but he is not giving up on politics just yet. For Times Now, Samia Kapoor.